watching News BBC Tonight. I'm Yo Zongyao, your host for tonight. It has been several days since the recent Typhoon Haiyan has made landfall on the eastern part of Philippines. The Category 5 typhoon, which originated near Micronesia, has caused widespread damage in the region, with strong winds reaching as high as 315 km per hour, hitting the eastern Philippines, before cutting across the Philippines, then hitting Taiwan, and finally reaching the South China. Typhoon Haiyan was formed on the 2nd of November due to a low pressure system in Micronesia, before moving generally west towards a region favoring cyclogenesis. As many as 11 million people were affected by the storm, with more than 600,000 left homeless. Victims of the catastrophe also demanded for emergency supplies which they urgently needed, including food, water, electricity, and medicine. Early estimates of the economic cost are about 15 billion pesos, which is quite a low figure, but it reflects the fact that Typhoon Haiyan laid waste to some of the poorest region of the country. Their backwardness also helps account for the slowness of the rescue efforts in many places, which results in displeasure in the victims due to the seemingly lack of rescue efforts. Food and medicine are struggling to reach places where they are really needed. Now, let's go straight to the Philippines with our on-site reporter, Charlton. Charlton, to you.
Good afternoon, sir, ma'am. My name is Charlton, reporting from Tacloban City. Over at the site of the terrible aftermath of the Super Typhoon Yolanda or the Typhoon Haiyan, buildings are being washed away. Survivors of the disaster are getting desperate. They're beginning to question the government's ability to be able to respond to such a swift but little disruption of their lives. They're begging for food, water, and electricity. So we have a victim of the terrible disaster, Armini Dominic. So, Amini, can you tell me what happened? What is your reaction to such a catastrophic disaster?
Oh, I know this Yolanda coming. Yeah, but I very strong faith in God, you see. He will protect me, you see. But how can I leave my beloved chicken behind? I love my chicken, you know. How can I leave it to the storm?
I see. So, how big and what do you think are the impact on you and your family are going to be?
Oh, my good friend, all their house got destroyed. Then they had to live in shacks for ridiculous loans. Then big ship washed ashore because of the storm surges. Then destroy even concrete homes. Then my neighbor, whole house got destroyed. Then daughter from college had to come back to support the family. I forever bachelor. Nothing to lose. I lose my fishing boat, but at least I still got my beloved chickens.
I see. But I remember that the government indeed provided some temporary shelter for you to stay in. But why did they want you to stay in shelter?
Those ridiculous shelter. Are you so far in there? How do you expect us to work there? All the old people, all the sick people, all also cannot go there. All the rich people drive their car, run away already.
Okay, thank you, Amani. Now we have seen the devastating effects of what happened in Tacloban City. So now, back over to you, Zongyao.
Operation has seen authorities distribute rice, bottled waters, and canned foods. However, it was deemed useless by the citizens, with the food only sufficient for several hundreds of people. In fact, in Tacloban, the worst hit area, the whole town of several hundreds of thousands of people was nearly flattened. One aid worker there described the place as hell. With the conditions worsening, the risks of typhoid, cholera, hepatitis, etc. rises rapidly. Looters are also trying to take advantage of the situation. They are feared by survivors. Let us see how the government is dealing with the situation. Our on-site reporter Charlton is at the government press conference. Down to you, Charlton.
Thank you, Zongyao. Now I'm in Manila, where I'll be speaking with the Filipino delegate of the Joint Crisis Committee, Angelo Fernandez. He is going to share with me how the Filipino government is planning to react to such a catastrophic disaster. Good evening, Mr. Fernandez. So I'd like to inquire about the government's preparatory efforts before the typhoon. What exact preventive measures did the government take?
Okay, so before the Typhoon Haiyan entered the Philippine area of responsibility on November 6, the government raised the Public Storm Warning Signal (PSWS) to number 1, the lowest of 4 levels for the Visayas and Mindanao. As the storm continued to approach, we expanded the warnings to Luzon and also increased the severity. By the evening of November 7, the typhoon had got so bad they had to increase the PSWS to number 4, the highest level of warning for various provinces including Leyte, Cebu, etc. So through November 8, we had to expand the coverage of the PSWS number 4. We have placed various police officers, and we also have placed the military and also the Air Force with their planes and helicopters to help the affected and maintain order. We evacuated residents in flood and landslide prone areas, and also lastly, the Pagasa issued warnings at different levels to almost 60 out of the 80 provinces. Lastly, on November 8, we activated the International Charter on Space and Major Disasters so we could get charitable coverage from relief organizations.
I see. And after the typhoon, we have received reports that have stated that people have suffered from many issues about their access to water and electricity and food. And many are complaining and are criticizing the government that they're not able to meet their immediate needs. How is the government planning to combat this?
So we have put into place this strategic response plan. Okay, so we have objectives like meeting the immediate food needs of survivors, also repairing the homes and infrastructure of various villages. We have also tried to restore the livelihood and employment of the various citizens such that they can feed their families. Lastly, we also try and let them regain access to local government services like education, etc. So in response to the concerns that people are not receiving help as fast as they can, so we feel that the scale of this Typhoon Haiyan is extremely big. We are not such a developed country, and the government is not the government can't really do anything about the lack of help to certain areas. We'll try our best, but this storm is really too big for us to handle.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. So we are done with the interview with Mr. Angelo Fernandez, the delegate of the Philippines for the Joint Crisis Committee. Back to you, Zhong Yao.